It just gets more and more exciting, ladies and gentlemen. What you are looking at is an image from the Royal Astronomical Society. Now, there's a recent article, I'll leave the link in the video description box, that talks about the observation of a possible parallel universe. Now, you can also read an article at Nature World News, Proof of a Parallel Universe. Mysterious cold spot could mean the multiverse actually exists. And this is cool, folks. So let me read this to you. A new study has offered the best evidence so far of the existence of parallel universes. According to a report from The Guardian, researchers recently analyzed what's called the cold spot that was spotted in the radiation from the formation of the universe over 13 billion years ago. Now, if you look at this map right here, this thermal imaging, that specific cold spot is 1.8 billion light years across. That's pretty big, isn't it, ladies? And it's 2.73 degrees above absolute zero. That is beyond freezing, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on top of that, that means that the actual temperature of that location is different than its surroundings. The source of the cold spot was first detected in 2004, and then almost 10 years later in 2013. Now, the significance of the 9-year cycle I'm still trying to put together. What is interesting is what it actually means. Well, what does that actually mean, Rex? Well, researchers say it's highly unlikely it was produced during the birth of the universe. By using challenging mathematical equations, also, the article published at the Royal Astronomical Society proves the anomaly is not an optical illusion. It is possible it could be just a fluctuation of the Big Bang, but University of Durham professor Tom Shanks discusses more exotic explanations. I like that, exotic, in reference to the cold spot anomaly. The researchers instead found that the cold spot region, which before now was thought to be underpopulated with galaxies, is split into smaller voids surrounded by clusters of galaxies. So it's the soap bubble structure, much like the rest of the universe. Now imagine that. A bunch of soap bubbles, a bunch of universes just expanding. Like if you blow bubbles, like remember when you were a kid and you go, the bubble would get real big, and then a whole bunch of other ones would form? Imagine the universe, the Big Bang, being like that. It's incredible. So here's what else is neat. This is a quote from the Astronomical Society. Perhaps the most exciting of these is that the cold spot was caused by a collision between our universe and another bubble universe. Shanks explained to the Royal Astronomical Society. If further, more detailed analysis proves this to be the case, then the cold spot might be taken as the first evidence for the multiverse. You can read the study at the Royal Astronomical Society. I'll leave the link in the video description box. And also the article that I told you about. If you just want to read a quick excerpt, go to Nature World News. You can read about it there. I'll leave a link to that also. Now, here's what I want to add to that. For the past few months, especially, my mind's always gone like Googleplexian times Googleplexian. Yet, recently, it's even just been at another level. And I don't know if it's from the readings and the scriptures and the emerald tablets, and it just seems like something is activated in my mind. Whether it's the colostrum that I've been taking from getthetea.com, whether it's the Oregon pyramid that I've got from Shinichi, I don't know. What I will tell you though, Misaki. Sorry about that, Misaki. Akaida.com is where I got that pyramid. It's awesome. You guys have seen it before. It lights up. So I don't know what it is. It just seems that when I look at these ancient petroglyphs and when I read through certain scriptures, whether it is in the Nag Hammadi, the Dead Sea Scrolls, or the Holy Bible, or whether it's a Sumerian text or a Vedic text, it's just more transparent now. It's like I see it immediately. And I've always been good at seeing the future. 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road. And I'm going to go ahead and read this to you guys now. this writing that I did. So where am I going with this? I want to read to you now this writing that I did, and I feel like I connected some dots here with not only the metaphysical side of things, the astral realms, the spiritual realms, the physical realms, and I talk about will, I talk about love and connections, and as above, so below. I want to get your opinions on this. This was literally, a lot of this was just, I was just writing it down. It was just coming out, I was texting it. I mean, not texting, but I was typing it. I wasn't writing it. I was typing it. And it was coming fast. I was typing faster than I could consciously think, if that makes sense. So, man, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Don't you love it? All right, so here we go. With all this data, and this is also in relation to the multiverse as well. That's why I started writing about it. With all this data, it opens up the mind to the possibilities of infinite dimensions, with infinite space putting into perspective how incredible, vast, and unlimited our potential really is. What is it like in these other dimensions? Is white black, up down, and left right? Or is right always right and left always left? And are we left with just the imagination? And is the imagination the creation of our reality and others? Throughout the infinite galactic multiverse, and is there a multiverse outside of the multiverse? And what's outside of the multiverse? Are we ourselves the infinite Akashic resonance within? Because in here is out there, and out there is in here. The stars and our birth are the galactic DNA and code for the perpetuation of Source. Life, light, and all that resides in the dimensions below, even though below isn't underneath, or is it? And what's up with all the labels anyway? Aren't they too boxy, confinements, and limiting harmonious life forms? Think about it. Because if we are frequency, and matter is frequency, isn't sound a frequency? And therefore isn't sound itself life? And life sound? Matter, whether still or in motion, is just a matter of perception. Life is not stagnant. Even decaying matter, which is considered death, is moving about in complex fashion. Transmutation of energy from one form to another again and again and again and again and again, over and over and over. Perpetual motion, light, matter, frequency, constantly spinning in different motions and equations based not only on the observer, the observation, and embedded brilliance of infinite possibilities and opportunities in each and every proton, neutron, electron, quark, neutrino, cycle within cycles, fractals within fractals, all resonating back to Source. And if not, then what is there if nothing? Because even nothing is something, isn't it? Is there really an opposite to something? And if there is, myself certainly would not want to fall victim to such fate. Would you? How do we continue to get better? Move, live, create, evolve, consciously, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and rationally for divine Source, which in return is for each and every one of us, as we are all connected to the same consciousness, God mind. Difference is each of us choose to experience different realities in the same reality, yet separate from self and connected. It's also confusing, yet makes complete sense once you activate and resonate with Source infinite love is true self, representation, and being of one's true will is love, as they are one in the same, not separate as people have discussed before. Love is the law, then love is the law under will. Well, my question is, how can love be under will if they are one and the same? My heart pours out into the Akashic records as I encapsulate this message into perpetuity. Time, space, beyond space-time, beyond the time is now. Not yesterday or tomorrow, as now is of the most importance. chasing the carrot at the end of the stick into the next life, and forgetting about your living now can become an endless black hole, but not of circles or cycles, of finite straight lines into the next life, and forgetting, boxed inside fractal cubes that limit self from self, and one will become no one eventually. Take these words as you will, and do what you will, as I am not your master nor judge, and you are neither my judge or master. Freedom, love, will, all one in the same. 2342, be the change you wish to see.